This is the Good Governance Radio.
Your online radio. The new online radio that makes you happy.
The Good Governance Radio.
Your systems are offline.
This is the Good Governance Radio. GGR. Stay with us.
In the word of John Maxwell, everything rises and falls on leadership. Coincidentally, or realistically rather, leadership is not a northerner, leadership is not a southerner, leadership is neither an easterner or a westerner, but is a connector and a sound mirror to that navigation we call conscience, which you cannot detach from. Mother Teresa said it's not about what you are doing, but the love attached to what you are doing. This is Good Governance Radio. Welcome to Evening Speak Out, and my name remains Ebere Chidera. I'm here, not here alone. Of course, you know, it's a full house of those who are grounded in truth and realities. Mr. Tony Ayodele will be navigating the ship with me this evening.
Well, Billy, you rightly said that leadership is all about not the southerner or the westerner. What we are talking about is giving the people the good governance that they desire. Well, we have somebody in the house too that's going to take us through what they understand by the good governance.
Exactly. Before he comes, Tony, I saw some disturbing pictures sometime last week when I saw some group of young men hacking off the railway tracks, cutting off the rails. I'm talking about functional rails in Nigeria today, loading them into vehicles. And we know the implication because a speeding train, which the captain is not aware of that incident or damage, could just collide, fall off the track, and this could lead to casualties. Was that a function of hunger? Was it justified by hardship, as we all put it today, that things are hard? So whatever you do to make money, go ahead and dive into it. So what do we exactly call that?
Well, I think looking at that incident, it makes us to feel that if everybody is being reckless in the society now, just to make sure that they just do anything they want to do, just to make the government look as if to show their grievances against the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. But looking at it in other way around, the lives of people that on that train that might one day just fall off the trail and what happened. I don't think that is the right way to go. I think the best way to go is don't need to damage the federal government property. These are collective tax money that we're using to do all these things. So I just believe that there's a better way to express yourself to the government rather than destroying what you are using and money. You know, mind you, most of these railway stations, railway they are operating, they are building, is borrowed money. Nigeria is owing heavily the Chinese company to produce.
My specific concern is this: we live in a country that is rather underdeveloped when it comes to infrastructure. We are still expecting world-class hospitals, world-class schools, functional transport systems, rail, waterways, and something is very, very evidential in the area of rail transportation in Nigeria. We have seen the functional Warri, Etakbe, Lagos, Kaduna, and others coming up.
Abuja, Kaduna.
Abuja, Kaduna. Since we have seen this, are we not rather supposed to be grateful unto what has been done, as we expect more to be done than that sabotage?
Well, you won't blame at times some people say an angry man is an angry man. And some of them will feel like this is not what we need. What we need is just give us job. Let us go there and get our job and pay our money and make us there. But again, the government will want to tell you that you need this to move your goods so that the farmers can have their goods, get to the market people at the good time, at the right time, especially most of the perishable ones. But to them, another thing that I believe is that the orientation of this keeping our infrastructure It's not there in our culture. People believe that it's government thing, they mean destroy it.
No,
that will happen.
this one is too sudden. What we have been used to in this country is poor maintenance culture, where an infrastructure is developed and all of a sudden it's abandoned. If you go to Lagos State, you will see the monumental National Stadium,
Even old federal secretariat.
even the old federal secretariat. But this one, the rail station just commenced operation. Okay, let me ask you this: do you see any, or do you feel any political undertone? Because we live in a country where the ruling party will always assume that the opposition is getting at them through those destructive mechanisms. Do you buy that?
Do you know that anything that happens in Nigeria now, they always time to be political undertone? So I won't take that out of context that maybe might not have a political undertone, but every little things that go on in this country now, people say is political. So that will be my submission.
This is the Good Governance Radio. We are not here for mere analysis. It's all about truth. It's all about depth. It's all about balance. It's all about equity. It's all about fairness. You can't be talking about good governance if these factors are not in place. We should hit the ground running wider, because I told you it's a full house, and I'm happy somebody who will be bringing in a dimensional flair to this discussion. People like us now, it be like saying, whether I don't go Cotonou self. I never go. As somebody, I don't know how big his portfolio is or his briefcase, but he should just be praying that I don't squeeze myself into his luggage tomorrow. And,
you want to be like Andrew?
I don't know whatever you got it. But a wonderful listener out there. I have a wonderful personality. Some people, I told them that creation didn't stop. For those of us who are Christian anyway, yes, I'm proud of my faith. Creation didn't stop on Saturday evening like we were meant to believe, or on the sixth day. God actually renewed his creativity, renewed his strength. And by Monday, he met some wonderful people. People like us. If you see my face, I am fearfully made, but some people are wonderfully made. And one of them is right here in the studio.
I don't know what you mean by fearfully made, but what I know is that God made all things are beautiful.
Beautiful. But one comedian said Taribo West is fearfully made. Ramsey Noah is wonderfully made. So you do the definition and comparison. Okay, I have the welfare officer Nigerian in Diaspora Organization Europe. That is NIDOE. Yes, I got it. He's an author, he's a journalist, he's a socialist. When the strength of a man
to amplify or amplify or exploit the mindset of people around the society, rather than engaging the people with highly informative stories that are very positive and very real. I always make my time to come to Nigeria every once or twice a year since the last 12, 13 years. And I always tell many Nigerians in the diaspora, you cannot stay out there and be painting stories that come out of Nigeria, or copy and pasting stories that somebody sits at the back of his kitchen or in his bedroom on the toilet and put up story together and looking for how to make some economic end by asking people to repost and then get so many followers on your posts.
You're talking about interest-based and induced stories.
Yeah, induced stories.
Okay, now
for me, the experience so far has been very, very dynamic, because I've been to a couple of states in the southeast, a couple of states in the southwest, a couple of states in the northwest.
Did you fly or you fly the road?
I fly. I drive by road. When I went to the east, I drove by road across Owerri, Umuahia, Aba, Enugu. And when I went to the southwest, I drove across from Abuja through Kogi, through Ekiti.
Okay, hold your thought there. Hold your thought there. I'll bring you back to that spot. Mr. Tony, something happened in Asaba last week. The South governors came together. Tell us about that incident.
Looking at the security situation in the country, a lot of state governors or regions have been coming up with a different kind of security operation. We have the Amotekun, we have what they call it, that they are trying to say they can secure their destiny. But they felt, let them come out together, especially what is kidnapping that is coming up recently in the southeast. So they decided to meet and say, how can we do? And based on this government policy on open grazing, and they felt let them come up, because this is the first time they are coming out with a one voice on the issue of the open grazing that the federal government has asked them to come up on. When some of the states in the north, they came up on that. Look at Benue State governor was among those who are saying that no, it's not going to happen in his own state. But I think what they decide to do now is to come out with one voice and say that no, we don't want an open grazing, and let us see how we can secure our region, should I say, or our state. So I just believe that they have the right to some extent constitutionally, according to some legal luminary from their own professional view of it, and they felt that that meeting is okay. Do
you think that declaration is visible? Do you think it's going to stand?
Well, I think it will, because one, mind you, they are also having executive power in their various states. This is a collective decisions. And I believe that somehow, if they have a good relationship with the federal government and present the policy, present their stand and the reason why they are opposing to open grazing, I think if it is well presented.
Okay, Mr. Gosson, are you aware of what had transpired between the South governors in Asaba, where they made a declaration that, look, we don't care what is happening in other parts of the country, but you see, these are our states, no open grazing?
Yeah, I've followed up that particular story, and I think we all just have to be careful the way we try to project our various interests, both at the state level and at the national level. And I'm one person who believes that the first thing we need to ask ourselves is, what do we think about ourselves? Do we see ourselves as Nigerians by Nigeria? Or do we see ourselves as people who came to be given birth in a place where they are told you are born in Nigeria and you do not have that deep identity reflection of who you are? Because today, globally, nations are thriving and securing their national identity. And national identity based on who you believe you are. If you see yourself as an American, you do not see yourself as John or Peter or whatever. Your Americanness shows in everything you do. You defend that identity wherever you go, whether you're from California, you're from Texas.
Are you of the opinion, because some people were of the opinion that they didn't consult, maybe they didn't get the presidency involved enough before that declaration. So are you going with the opinion that their decision wasn't national?
No, I'm not going by the opinion that their decisions wasn't national. Yeah, what I'm saying is, whatever you're fighting for, let's see it as being fighting for the the entity called Nigeria, and whatever you do, let it not bring about the idea of we are of the South, we are of the North. Let it be that is for the collective interest of the people called Nigeria, because everybody that is a Nigerian have a right to reside anywhere across the country. And everything that makes it possible for everyone to have the right to reside in the South equally gives every other person the right to reside in the North. So if the governors are taking a decision, they should take a decision with a balanced view, with a balanced consideration of everybody around the country. For me, I'm not one of those who believe in open grazing. Open grazing is an outdated principle of animal husbandry business in the world. You can see that in any advanced country. So any process in which the states and the governance as a whole are able to come to a complete and common compromise on how to manage this crisis of herdsmen and cattle rearing in Nigeria in a modern society should be done as a collective bargaining, as a collective process of discourse. A great writer, the name just ran off my head, said that we should, Dr. What's this guy that runs this institute in Lagos, London Business School? Paul Utome always use this phrase, and I like it so much. When he says that we should all come to a rational space of conversation. That should be a rational space of conversation where everybody is given an opportunity to share their views and opinion, and in a rational communality should come to a rational resolution of how this whole situation benefits everybody in good faith. We should not make it look like we are defending ourselves and they should defend themselves, because what we are trying to build is build separate empires invariably. And then in the reality, it becomes very, very challenging to defend, because the South have the right to say, look, the North can do open grazing, but don't bring the open grazing to the South. But then you realize that most cattle cannot survive in the North because they haven't got much what they graze upon. So most of the vegetations for a good cattle rearing are mostly in the South. And so if there is going to be a clear domestic dynamic resolution or decision to solve this problem, is to create cattle ranchings. Create cattle ranchings that will benefit the South and the North.
Yeah, let me just take you up on another opinion. Some school of thought believes that this business is owned by an individual. So they should find a way to create a ranch for their...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So how would the government want to say they want to support?
No, this cattle rearing shouldn't be a government... It shouldn't be a government adventure. The government shouldn't venture into it.
That is what led to some issues that say that no, you can't take a land and come and...
And just you said, and we all know the truth. I said to some group of people that you guys know the truth. You don't want to say the truth.
Okay, which have been coming, but this is still GGR. I don't expect you to shift that frequency. When we come back, this discussion for your interest and in your best interest will continue. Don't go anywhere.
Computer systems are offline.
This is the Good Governance Radio. GGR. Stay with us.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Let's go. This is your radio, your station.
GGR. Good Governance Radio. This is the Good Governance Radio. You are listening to GGR, Good Governance Radio. Stay with us.
Welcome back. This is the GGR, and my name, I have not gone for a baptismal class. Still a bit of Chidera here, and with me, Tony is right seated, and Mr. Godson is well fitted into this discussion. Now, let me take us back to Port Harcourt. A few years ago, an aircraft, I think Air France to be precise, loaded with 196 passengers plus the crew members, collided with a cattle right on the runway of Port Harcourt International Airport. And people were surprised. Where could cattle coming from, moving freely at the runway? Do you think even before the farmers' herders situation that has resulted to kidnapping, killings, accusations and counter accusations, do you think as a country we have done enough to stop this before now?
Ebele, if I will want to talk about that incident, I think one, we are talking about how we secure our airport, our runways in Nigeria. Because if that place is well secured, there's no way a cow or will come close to that runway. So that is another angle of it. But when you want to talk about how well or are we able to manage the situation, but I think then it was happening to, it has not really got to the level of them going into the farmers, eating their crops, damaging some of their vegetations and all this stuff. But to be sincere to us, to ourselves, I think there's enough for us. Now, then we are taking it with levity. We are taking it with just, well, let's just be so. But I think it now got to the level that people are not getting the side effect of it. You can see that then people are not complaining that because of this cow damaging their farmland, foodstuffs have become high in price in the market. And the government too, then the local government, the state government, they were not really looking at it as a kind of an issue that's supposed to be tamed at the board, but they decided to leave it up until when it gets to a level at which people now politicize it to some extent. That's my opinion. And they decide to look at it that now let us find a way to make this thing look as if it has not been existent. It has been there, but people never take note to it, and people never believe, okay, this is very important and very serious. So that is just
okay. Let's look at the insecurity from another angle. Beyond what the farmers and herders are doing, beyond the clashes, people are talking. A lot of people have the opinion that the real problem of insecurity in the country is more economical than tribal. A country that produces over 100,000 graduates every year today, because we're not only talking about kidnapping herders, we're talking about banditry, kidnapping, ritual killings, even though in the eyes of the law, they will ask you to come and start proving one or two things. But we have seen a young girl in Calabar just last week going for a job interview. And when she got there, she didn't come back alive. We listened to the gory video of what the young man was saying, how he has done it to so many other young girls. In other words, the rate of unemployment in Nigeria cannot be overlooked when we are talking about insecurity. Mr. Godson, you are coming from a country where the youths are taken care of, the elderly are taken care of, kids are taken care of, and you have relative infrastructural balance and advancement. Bringing that comparison down here, what is your opinion when it comes to the economic side of insecurity? Do you think that buying more weapons will save us, or building more industries? Which one do you think should be our priority now?
Thank you very much. I see when we talk about insecurity, we always make so much emphasis on what is going on in Nigeria, irrespective of the fact that the Nigerian level of insecurity is as a result of politically motivated agendas that has metaphors into a religious clash difference. And I keep saying to people, I said, apart from the fact that the originator of Boko Haram can be traced back to political applications, which has got out of control, and these young chaps, metaphors from political talks, political supporters, into religious elements. And once they couldn't get anyone to put them under control or a check, they become militant. And becoming militant and having an international influence into that structure made it difficult to bring Boko Haram to an end. And I keep telling people, I said, the issue you're having between Boko Haram and the crisis in the north has influences with the relationship of Nigerian Sunnis and Shiite differences and clashes. And also some political elements in the system in the north are also taking advantage of this to create more divisional elements or society divide in the north for their own advantage and their own personal glories. If you also look at the bandit structure, you could also sense the international influence to banditry in Nigeria. Like I was saying to somebody this afternoon, my friend from the British High Commission this afternoon, that banditry came to be because why? Some people were given the right to mine in some places in the north, and in order for them to have security of their mining, illegal mining structure in the north, they decided to employ these people from Mali, from Burkina Faso, from wherever, to be their guides in their mining sites. Obviously, honestly, if proper investigation is done, we'll find out that most of these bandits, so-called bandits, because I don't know where they got those names from, are not real Nigerians. They are people that were imported to secure the Chinese and the Russians running a syndicate, mining syndicates in the north, on behalf of some certain big name Nigerians who are influential in the society and have interest in those mining things. But then the government took a very irrational decisions and reckless actions, and that led to the miners being chased away without going away with the African elements they brought to protect them. And you abandon these people after bringing them from other countries to work for you. What do you expect? These guys have nobody paying them to stay there. They don't have no way to go back to their various country of origin. And then they become political thugs, they become chieftains of the area and start causing havoc. Now it becomes a Nigerian problem. Now Nigeria is finding it difficult to identify that these people are not Nigerians in order to keep the relationship with the other countries where they come from. So there's a lot of international elements there in this whole racket going on. So we have Boko Haram, we have bandit. And also I come to say to people, I say, look, from my perspective, I have grown up to know Fulani Bororoges, the real Fulani Bororoges, who are the Katuriaras. In my growing up and in all my times of living in Nigeria, I can say that I have been to over 30 states in Nigeria, and I've seen Fulani people rearing cows. I've never seen a Fulani person carrying AK-47, a real Fulani Bororoge. rearing cow. I've never seen them carry AK-47. Even the Shakabula, that is local made guns, I never see them. Highest you can see a real Fulani cattle.
So are you of the opinion that the real Fulanis might be exempted?
Let me land. I'll tell you. They are not exempted. Yeah. But what I'm telling you is the people, even if you take a sample now, just go out and take a sample across many Fulani people you see carrying cows, the worst you can see with them is their shepherd's stick, their knife or their dagger, and their amulets of charms on their body. What has happened is, in the course of communal clashes with these Fulani cattle rearers, who, when they fight you, communal clash, they use their knife and dagger. Remember, the early days of the clashes, it was cutting of throats, chopping of heads with knives. Then there is an international infiltration under the cover of Fulani herdsmen who are probably working under that disguise within the Boko Haram circle or the ISL circle, and using herdsmen as a cover to infiltrate, and leading to the aspiration, which everybody now thinks about, land grabbing, ethnic cleansing. Because what we ended up having, and that process, is a group of people, who use Fulani herdsmen as a cover to pursue an ethnic cleansing agenda and land grabbing in Nigeria. And most of these people are not real Nigerians.
These people they have caused more havoc in places like Katsina State, where the president is coming from. And a lot of people are bluntly saying that he is supporting the ethnic cleansing agenda. Do you think he can unleash these men on his kinsmen in Katsina?
Well, I think, like I said, there may be some elements of truth or facts in this whole thing, but the truth is this, and I keep saying it: none of these people that have the understanding of what's going on can deny the fact that they don't know how all these things are happening, including Mr. President himself. And some of these reactionary actions happening in Katsina or Zamfara or Benue, whatever, as a result of people planting a cause, and suddenly they find out they can manage this cause, and this cause is getting out of their hand, and these individuals are not taking the law into their hand. Whether the master that brought them and feed them wants it or not, they must share the blood, and the blood does not matter where. Remember, in Katsina, as you speak today, about 35-40% of most people in Katsina are Christians. You may not know that. So you need to find out who are those who are the victims of killings, of the deaths in Katsina. So equally, you look at the killings in Kaduna. You look, who are the greatest victims of the killings in Kaduna? So you now begin to marry who is actually behind this issue of ethnic cleansing, indirectly.
All right,
cleansing.
Mr. Godson, now you have a lot to tell me. You have been around for the past 3 months. You have gone around to other regions. You have been making contacts. You have met personalities. You have been purposeful in your movement in Nigeria. You'll be telling us more about what brought you, what you have to tell us economically, but that will be after this break. I told you it's not about mere analysis, but factual presentation, factual projections, factual and insightful discussions. Tony is still looking at me. He wants to say more, but I won't let him until we come back. GG Radio still navigating. Don't go anywhere.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Let's go. This is your radio, your station.
GGR, Good Governance Radio.
Computer systems are offline.
This is the Good Governance Radio. GGR. Stay with us. This is the Good Governance Radio.
Your systems are offline.
This is the Good Governance Radio. GGR. Stay with us.
Yeah, stay GGR. Welcome back. In the words of Gandhi, an eye for an eye certainly will leave the whole world blind. Tolerance, patience, understanding, love, all of them cannot be separated if we must be together. Mr. Tony.
I believe that word you said is the same society where the government rise up to the occasion in giving us what the citizens are expected from them. Then you can find that we can live in love and unity, whereby you find out that there's sectional interest. You don't think that's kind of I believe what the government needs to do is just to really listen to the voice of the people.
Your opinion in this can really count. You can log on to www.ggr.com.ng for audio contribution. For audio listenership, and you can make your contribution. And you can also watch us on YouTube, Good Governance Radio. And in the absence of these two options, you can send out a direct SMS message on
09130236602. I'll call the number again, 09130236602. Just send your SMS on your view.
All right. Mr. Gosson, you are still here.
Very much.
Tell us what you brought to Nigeria.
Inside that briefcase, I don't think it's dollar.
You were there when he opened it. I wasn't there.
But it didn't come with dollar, but I came with something.
When we started this conversation, I told you that I might just be
Andrew
sneaking. All right.
I think he's here to tell us how Nigeria can benefit from his.
Let him speak to us. He's an author, he's a journalist, he's a politician.
No, I'm trying to say myself, maybe he can carry me along.
Yes. All right. Talk to us now.
Thank you very much, my group friends. It's my great pleasure once again. I came to Nigeria, obviously, to launch my third book, which is Britain, EU, post-Brexit, African relation.
But Britain, no, they give visa.
Geopolitics of globalization. I know. But we want to make them to start giving visa now that we are in the post-Brexit era. And it's an opportunity for Nigerians to behave. It's an opportunity for the Nigerian government to behave. It's an opportunity for everyone to key into this laudable social, economic, and cultural opening as a result of Britain exiting the EU, and Nigerians, most especially, and many other African countries to key into this window that the exit is opening for Africans. Most especially, I talked about or wrote about the potentials of great economic windfall for Africa. Africa being the great or the most destination for global resources. Everything you need to develop anything around the world in terms of raw materials and mineral resources are mostly domiciled or residing here in Africa, especially in the Congo, in Cote d'Ivoire, in Nigeria, in South Africa, in Malawi, in Rwanda.
So what do we expect? What are the benefits we expect to?
And so we want Nigeria to key into what they think is the best comparative advantage resources or produce that they can It can be highly competitive in terms of price war, in competing for the export capacity of such opportunities. And that is why I put the book together, and that is why we're planning for a trade mission to the United Kingdom by bringing together. I know there's a lot of things that are ongoing at the moment. There's a lot of
Let me cut you. For you to come back from UK with this package, you still believe in one Nigeria? You still believe in functional Nigeria?
Well, as a realist, we believe that we can't change the reality of things. That's how they are meant to be. You can only change the perspective of things if they are meant to evolve. As long as Nigeria is concerned, at the state that it is today, Nigeria is not ready to evolve into what certain quarters of people are stating for. I am not against the fact that people should not agitate for the right of secession or rights of self-determination. Is the absolute right of every nationality to seek for their self-determination and independence within a geographical entity, and is inscribed in the United Nations Act or rules of engagement. But there must be a procedure. I know that history will tell when that will come. Great countries has disintegrated. Great countries like the Soviet Union, nobody ever dreamed that one day Soviet Union is going to become pieces of nations. Yugoslavia, Czechoslovakia, all came into pieces, and somehow it happened. And for me, I believe that there is still Nigeria at this very moment. And if there's going to be a different nation that is going to be called different name, probably Oduduwa, as they're saying, Biafra, as they're saying, Arewa Republic, as they are saying, the Middle Belt Amazon, or whatever they want to call themselves. But as long as I am concerned, the entity called Nigeria is still surviving. We all, as we continue to survive within this entity, will continue to strive to ensure that the social, economic, and political survival of this entity continue to strive until the time it is ripe and mature for the entity to dismantle itself by natural evolution, by natural circumstances or occurrences that will lead to that point. Because for me, I believe that the men or the women who will lead to that evolution of re-evolution of this entity called Nigeria, which personally from my historic perspective, I still feel that Nigeria is not our real national identity. Because when somebody gives you a name that is not the name of your birth, then you are answering a name that is not naturally and spiritually attached to you. The name Nigeria is an artificial construct, a name given out of a relationship of a colonial family, Flora and Lugard, having a funfair love affair at the tip of the Lokoja Niger confluence, decided to give a name to a territorial area.
But we have lived with this name for over 100 years.
Yes, you can live with this name over 100 years and still remain static and not moving. Countries have lived and changed the dynamic of their nationality.
Are you talking about rebranding the name or restructuring the nation?
Is it the name that is a problem now, or the?
I think
because you are saying that they were having love, they were happy, they are enjoying themselves. And where that name came up,
and that is why Fela said that Nigeria is suffering and smiling because of that name.
So, do you believe in restructuring?
I believe in what I call moral moral and mental restructuring and not physical restructuring, like those who are preaching restructuring are preaching about it today. Because for me, the first step of changing the nature of things is to change the way you think about things and the way you assume about things. The Nigeria today, no matter how you reduce pay package of elected officers, no matter how you allow the East to rule for 4 years and the West to rule for 4 years and the North come back and rule 4 years, no matter how you change the power devolution from the federal to the state, no matter how you change the devolution of power from the state governors to the local government, if the mental and moral capacity of those who are going to manage those institutions are not equal to the standard of those institutions, corruption will continue to reign.
We seem to be
Nepotism will
we
continue
seem to be
reign.
blaming the executive, the presidency, for every abnormality. Right now, our judiciary is on strike, and we have been told, judicial workers anyway. Now, we have been told that the court is the hope of common man. If you don't have a functional judiciary, do you think the common man has a hope? And is it in the hands of the presidency to make the judiciary that is independent functional?
Thank you very much. I think
Because you're talking about moral restructuring.
I think
You cannot do moral restructuring without the law, because life will remain brutish and short.
I think life has always remained brutish and short everywhere in the world. It depends on how the perspective you are taking the phrase as put by I think it's what's his name again that wrote this book.
I'm trying to remember too.
And came about this phrase: life is brutish, short.
Yes, under the sociology of law.
So for me, like I said earlier on, and I said this on a program on AIT, I said very clear: the Nigerian constitution is quack, the judiciary is quack, the executive system is quack. Why? Because none of these systems are being operated to the standard of its expectations to meet the reality of time in form of the kind of federalism or the kind of federalist state we are running. Because first of all, if your constitution is right, then everybody take undue advantage of the loopholes in the constitution to do whatever they want to do and do it to their own best benefit, rather to the greater benefit of the greater people of the country. And that is where we have our problem. If the judiciary, so-called, the last, whatever you call it,
of a common man,
the common man, the last hope of the common man, I would say that is not the last hope of the common man, because the common man suffer most under the judiciary than the so-called elites. So, but that is because there is a quirky nature of the judiciary itself,
or the constitution.
The constitution and the way the judiciary has been cocooned by certain elements in the system. And so you find out the judiciary, instead of the judiciary having an equal right to the constitutional principles of a federalist system, where the judiciary becomes the check and balances of both the legislature and the executive. The judiciary now has been made a merry-go-round bedfellow in the system, whereby they dance to the tune of either those who pay their check from the executive, or those who pay their check better from the legislature.
So it's a case of paying the piper and dictating the
tune. So it's a very difficult situation for the common man and the ordinary Nigerian.
But it's similar to what people are talking about the local government autonomy.
Yeah.
What is your opinion about that too? Because people are feeling that the state governors too, they're also oppressing
the local government system.
Because they're just like somebody was saying that pick your brother, go and be chairman. Pick your local your loyalists, go and be the chairman. But we are not getting the impact, because people believe that local government should be the first place that we should feel governance, but we are not.
Yeah, I mean, I believe I believe in the local government autonomy so much, but like I said, you do not create institutions that those who want to run or operate those institutions lack the moral capacity to run those institutions in a justified way. In as much as people say, create police states for the state governors to manage, I still if a state governor that lacks the moral capacity, that lacks the mental balance to run a just government, will take advantage of the state security operatives under his own absolute control to hunt and to demean anybody in the state to his own advantage until he leaves power. So it's not about all this whole thing about the structure. If you come to the UK today, there is a local government autonomy in the UK, but then the local government autonomy has its ways of operational system where you have an executive secretary who is paid well to run the councils. The mayor earns, the executive secretary of the council earns about 100 times more than the mayor elected to run the council politically in any local government in the UK. But the absolute administration of the local government falls on the executive secretary of the local government, who is paid to generate money. He or she must generate the expected internal revenue equal to the expectations of the local government in order to justify the huge amount paid for him or her to run that local government. So, for example, you have an executive secretary of a local government who earns about £200,000 annually running a local government, while the mayor elected earns about £48,000. So you can now have an autonomy where the institution is abused and continually going to be abused by those who run it. It does not lead us to anywhere. First, we must identify how do we resolve our moral standard, how do we resolve our mental capacity to be leader servant with all honesty, with all sincerity of purpose, and not just by the mere phrase of it, by the mere political statement of it, but by the reality that you are there to serve your people, irrespective of the little they pay you. You do your best for the 4 years, the 8 years you're there to deliver the dividends of democracy, which is providing the essential amenities for your community. Why should I have a local government chairman when there is no single clinic in the whole of the local government?
I think I want to say before we go, I want to ask you, your organization, what is their plans towards what have been the activities so far in relation to you in diaspora? I believe that you people bring in more money to the economy of Nigeria.
Well, there's a bit of progress in the diaspora. NIDO is a government gazetted organization umbrella that is supposed to be directly dealing with the federal government.
Yearly, you have a conference.
We have a yearly conference coming up in July because of COVID.
Okay, because I know that.
And so this year they're planning for July, and we've been playing our role. We have played our role in the establishment of NIDCOM, the Nigerian Diaspora Commission. There's some elements fighting all over the place for the right of diasporans to vote, which I welcome, but on a different perspective, because I've told people, if you're bringing in the right for diasporans to vote, be careful, because the population of Nigerians in US, in the UK, cannot be equal to the population of Nigerians in Mali, in Togo, or in Niger, in Saudi Arabia, because there are figures coming out of that some of us are becoming very alarmed. Somebody said the other day there are about 3 million Nigerians in Saudi Arabia alone, and somebody is saying there are about 5 million Nigerians in Sudan. So by the time you hear this figure, and we are only crying in the UK, we have the largest Nigerian population of about 2.5 million. America has about, and then you look at this whole thing, and you look at the dynamics of law and rule of law in some of these countries.
Okay, we can't have you enough. I don't know why we weren't aware of your arrival on time. It's been a wonderful section with the welfare officer of that great Nigeria in Diaspora Organization Europe, talking about Mr. Godson Azu. It's been a pleasure having you.
Thank you.
I believe when Ness is around, I think we are going to bring him back to come and talk about 2023.
Yes, he has a lot to say. Like I said, he has a lot to say, but we have the time is fast spent, and we can never do this enough. Remember, you can still join us every day, www.ggr.com.ng. You can follow us on YouTube, Good Governance Radio, and right from your phone you can make contributions, sending us direct messages 090-30236602.
You can also WhatsApp.
You can also send your message through WhatsApp using the same number. It has been a pleasure taking professional and technical instructions from Oluwatobi, a man with the golden voice, whose voice you'll be hearing either in the morning or later today. My senior mentor, Mr. Tony Ayodele, has been giving me knocks on the head here when I did it wrongly. And this man that we brought here, definitely I will track him. If we can't have him again live here, we bring him through Zoom or online connectivity.
As I say, promise to.
Exactly. Oluwatobi has been technically in charge.
Anytime.
Mr. Tony has been wonderful. I remain Ebere Chidera until again when our voice shall be up here. Be a patriotic Nigerian. That thing you are expecting, do am for somebody. Nine beloved. I sign out and we sign out. Have a wonderful evening.
This is the Good Governance Radio.
Computer systems are offline.
This is the Good Governance Radio. GGR. Stay with us.